there was a guy walking down the street when he fell in a hole. The hole was so deep, the walls were so steep that this guy was scratching, he was clawing, he was doing everything he could to try and climb out of there. And no matter what he did, he could not get out of that hole. He was just stuck. But he could see people on the surface walking by. And eventually he sees a guy walk by in a white lab coat, looked like a doctor. He said, doctor, I'm stuck down here. What can you do to help me? And the doctor kind of looked over into the hole, assessed the situation. He took out a pen and a pad from his lab coat. He wrote out a prescription, tore it off, threw it in the hole, and walked away. And our guy's like, what in the world is this supposed to do for me? I'm stuck down here. I need help, and I don't see a way out. What is this gonna do for me? And so he starts to get even more hopeless. And he's clawing and he's scratching and he's trying to get out, and nothing that he's doing is working. And sooner or later, he sees a pastor walk by. He's in his priestly robes. He goes, Father, I'm stuck down here. Is there anything that you can do to help me? The preacher was a little bit more receptive to the man, so he stopped and he spoke with him for a few moments. It was Sunday. Eventually he had to go. He pulled out a pen and a pad from his robes, wrote out a prayer, tore it off, threw it in the hole, and walked away. And now this guy who is stuck down there starts to feel so hopeless. He starts to feel like there's absolutely no way out of his current situation. He feels like he was so capable, he had this whole life ahead of him, and now it's all gone. Because he can't get out of this spot. He can't get unstuck. And sooner or later, he sees a friend walk by, and in one last-ditch effort of desperation, he says, hey man, it's me, and I'm stuck, and I need help. And the friend did something different. He looked over, he saw what was going on, he took a deep breath, and he jumped. And our guy's stuck down there going, what in the world are you doing? Now we're both stuck down here. And the friend said, yeah, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out. This kid that came from a small town, didn't come from a lot. My parents never made more than $55,000 in a year combined. And now I'm moving across the country to go chase my dreams at what at the time was the back-to-back national reigning championship team. And I move across the country chasing my dreams as a D1 athlete. And when I get there, I get cut from the team 4 times in 5 years. A lot of people assume it's a Rudy situation where I was good for the first, or I was cut for the first 4 years, and that last year it was this miraculous comeback and I was able to make it to the team. But in fact, it was the exact opposite. My freshman year, I was on the team, and every single subsequent year after that, I got cut from the team. During that same time period, from the age of 18 to 22 years old, I had a lot of stuff going on back home. My father, who is technically my stepdad, but he's been with me since literally day one of my life, so that is my dad. He got diagnosed with cancer twice. My mom was diagnosed with an incurable autoimmune disease. And so as I'm going through this time period of my life, I'm experiencing physical pain. I had a torn AC joint. I had my wrist tear, something called your TFCC, on both sides, and my entire left wrist reconstructed, major surgery. I had psychological stress of constantly being cut from the team, constantly told that I wasn't good enough, constantly feeling like I was less than, and stressing out about trying to make the team the next year or the year after that. I didn't have a support system. I didn't have an inner circle of people that I could turn to talk about these sorts of things. So I go to YouTube. I type in motivational speaker. The very first video that pops up is When You Want to Succeed as Bad as You Want to Breathe by Dr. Eric Thomas. And just like many of us in that room, or in this room, that was the first exposure that I had to any of ET's content. And I went on a binge watch. I went on a marathon. I watched everything that he had ever put out on YouTube, all the podcast episodes, anything that was posted on social media, I was there. One day I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see an ad pop up. It's $250 for a one-on-one coaching session with ET. $250 was literally everything that I had to my name. Everything. You gotta understand, I'm putting myself through college. I had student loans, but that was paying for, what, tuition? I'm working for the same team that I got cut from, making $100 a week. So $250 to me was everything, and I didn't even know if this person that I saw on the internet was gonna be the same person that got on the phone to talk to me if I bought that coaching call. I have no clue who he really is, wants me to pay him $250 to get on the phone for a coaching call. And as silly as it sounds, I literally prayed about this. I literally prayed about it. I was like, which way do I go? And for whatever reason, I couldn't articulate why, but I felt like whatever ET had, I needed to get close to. I didn't know what it was gonna do for me, but I just felt like I needed to be in the room. ET would say, put yourself in miracle territory. So I make the investment, pay the $250, I get on the coaching call with him. He finds out I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He lives in Lansing, Michigan, hour and a half away. He says, why don't you come meet me for breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning? I said, yes, sir. Hung up the phone, cried a little bit. At every single event that I can possibly go to. And I would literally get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, go do my strength and conditioning training with the team. I would go to class from 8 to 2, go train with the team from 2 to 5. I'd get in the car, drive all the way to Lansing, Michigan, watch ET speak, get back in the car, drive back to Ann Arbor and go coach personal training sessions at night to pay for the gas that I had spent just to get out there. I did that for 2 years straight. I think I missed 1 or 2 sessions in that entire 2-year period. And eventually, March of 2020 was around the corner, and I was about to graduate. So I built this whole folder of 60 pages worth of documents that I was gonna go give to ET, and it was gonna try and convince him to give me a shot. And I keep saying that I don't know how to articulate it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what it was that called me to get up and go chase after that man, but I literally got up, ran up 2 sets of stairs. I knew I couldn't go straight after him because he's famous. Somebody's gonna tackle me if I just run after him as soon as he leaves. So I get up, run up 2 flights of stairs, out the other door to the arena, and beat him to his car. And I'm standing there with this binder of 60 pages worth of stuff that I thought might convince him to give me a shot, to give me an opportunity. And I forgot everything that I was gonna say. I had this whole script memorized of what I wanted to say and how I was gonna convince him to give me an opportunity. Completely went out the window. I just handed him this folder. I said, I'll do anything for an opportunity, anything. Right there on the spot, he committed to an unpaid internship. I just graduated from the University of Michigan with degrees in economics and psychology, and I'm doing an unpaid internship with a man I met on YouTube. My mother was not pleased. And this entire time that I'm doing this, working from home, working from a laptop, the entire time that I'm doing this, I have a standing job offer to go coach gymnastics out in Houston, Texas for $60,000 a year. Remember, that's more than my parents have ever made in a year combined. And the guy from Texas called me up one day. He was like, I need an answer because you're gonna be the head coach to my gym. I need to know if you're gonna come out here and do this or not. And I said, I'm doing this thing with ET, let me call you back. Pick up the phone, I called ET. I said, E, where's this opportunity gonna go? I need to know because I've got this other opportunity. E was like, you might ought to take it. Because I don't know what you can do yet. You've been here for 3 months. I need to see results. I need to see production. So I put down the phone. I didn't even say anything to ET. Put down the phone, called my guy in Houston back. I said, listen, I know that this is important, but I've got to go all in on myself. This is the only time in my life I'm gonna be able to do this. I've got to go all in on myself. I've got to invest in myself, and I've got to make this happen. So I turned down the job offer, respectfully, can't do it right now. And I continued to work for ET for free for the next 3 months throughout the summer of COVID. I wake up one morning to a text from ET at 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, how much money do you want to make in a year for your first year going full time? That's how fast things can change. There's a couple of things I had to do. I had to go all in on myself. I had to bet on myself. I had to invest in myself. Remember, that $250 was everything that I had. And that one meeting changed my entire life, changed the trajectory of everything that I have done since then. That was the moment when I was all on board.